Welcome back to the Knowledge Mobilization Basics video series for the Diabetes Action Canada Network. In the first 3 videos of our series, we shared the what, who, and how of knowledge mobilization. In this 4th video, we take a closer look at the where of knowledge mobilization. We'll explore that knowledge mobilization is not a one-size-fits-all approach and why it's important to understand the specific real-world setting into which we want to move the research results. We need to understand the where as much as the what, who, and how to enable us to make a positive difference in the lives and health of people and the public. Hello again, I'm Julie Makarski, and I, along with Dr. Monica Kastner of the Diabetes Action Canada Knowledge Mobilization and Implementation Science Program, have created this series of 5 short videos to explain the basics of knowledge mobilization in an easy-to-understand way. Again, we hope you are enjoying these videos and finding them a simple and useful introduction to knowledge mobilization. So let's begin video 4 about the where of knowledge mobilization. In this video, we build upon the how of knowledge mobilization from video 3 by describing the importance of understanding where knowledge mobilization and implementation activities take place and why this is important. So first, what do we mean when we say where? We can think of the where as the real-world settings, contexts, and circumstances in which the knowledge mobilization and implementation activities take place. Second, remember that knowledge mobilization is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Different real-world situations will need different strategies to help share or move the research results into everyday use. Real world means that the process of moving research results can be very different depending on the setting, context, and circumstances. This also means that we have to pay particular attention to and adjust our processes of moving the research results according to these specific differences so that we can ensure a good fit. Therefore, it's important for us to understand the specific setting, context, and circumstances into which research results will be moved before we actually move them. Only then can we ensure a good fit of the research results in a particular setting, context, and circumstance. And knowledge mobilization can help us with the process of understanding. In our previous video about how to do knowledge mobilization, we share that the science of knowledge mobilization provides guidance on how to practice it, usually in the form of tools. There are tools available to help us with the process of understanding our setting, context, and circumstances so that we can then more effectively share and move research results into the real world. For example, one of the most common tools used to help us understand setting and context is called the Consolidated Framework for Implementation Research, or CFIR for short. We can use the CFIR tool to identify potential challenges about the setting into which we are interested in implementing something, and how the setting, context, and circumstances might influence this implementation. If we learn about challenges and why they occur in a particular setting, context, or circumstance, we can then more easily respond and overcome them. Similarly, if we can identify the things that are working well and that may help support the implementation, then we can make sure to keep doing them to enhance and improve our implementation efforts to successfully move the research results into that setting. In addition, as we know, people are at the heart of knowledge mobilization and are an important part of any setting. So we need to understand not only the setting, context, and circumstances, but also we need to understand the people who will be using or applying the new research results in that setting. Let's take a moment now to walk through all of this with an example. You might recall the case example from video 3 where Health Canada recommended that doctors adopt a new and better way to screen the eyes and feet of patients living with diabetes to prevent complications. In that example, the setting would be considered the primary care offices, while the context might vary considerably. For example, in the context of an urban family health team in the general Toronto area, this office may have 10 family doctors, 2 nurse practitioners, a social worker, a psychologist, and a pharmacist. While in the context of a rural family health team in Northern Ontario, this office may have only 2 family doctors and 1 nurse practitioner, but serving the same number of patients as the urban office in Toronto. In terms of their circumstances, the urban family health team might have lots of resources and therefore be more easily able to adopt the new screening method, whereas the rural office may have limited resources, which would make their adoption of the new screening method more challenging and less feasible. With this understanding, we would then tailor our strategies accordingly to support each office to adopt the new screening method. Understanding the setting, context, circumstances, as well as the people within them is incredibly important for us to effectively and successfully move the research results into the real world. Using tools like the CIFR allows us to understand the real-world settings, context, circumstances, and the people within them by discovering what challenges they may face and what motivates them to use the research results. So in summary, remember that knowledge mobilization is not a one-size-fits-all approach, and that we need to first learn about the where we want to share or move research results. Different real-world settings, context, circumstances, and the people within them will need different strategies that are specific for them and tailored to fit their needs. Also, knowledge mobilization science tools such as CIFR can help us to understand what is needed in a particular setting, context, or circumstance. And lastly, it is through the processes of understanding and using tailored strategies that will make it possible for us to effectively and successfully move the research results into the real world. And in doing so, we can make a positive difference to benefit patients, the public, and the healthcare system. Thanks so much for watching video 4. Stay tuned to this channel for video 5, our final video in this Knowledge Mobilization Basics video series. We will conclude this video series by exploring the when of knowledge mobilization. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.